The lights in the newsroom were blinding, and the cameras were rolling. Karoline Leavitt sat across from a panel of journalists, her expression calm but sharp. Tonight was supposed to be a routine debate, but she could feel the tension in the air. The anchor, Martin Collins, leaned forward with a smirk. "Miss Leavitt, your critics say you manipulate facts to push your agenda. How do you respond?" A murmur of approval rippled through the panel. They were waiting for her to stumble, for her confidence to waver. But Karoline knew exactly what they were doing. Before she could respond, another journalist, Samantha Reed, jumped in. "And let's not forget the recent scandal, allegations that you used underhanded tactics to win your last case. Care to explain?" The screen behind them flashed with news headlines. Karoline Leavitt under fire, legal expert accused of playing dirty, all part of a calculated smear campaign. The audience watched, expecting her to get defensive. But Karoline didn't flinch. Instead, she leaned forward and said, "Let's talk about facts." The room fell silent. Karoline pulled a folder from her briefcase and placed it on the table. "These so-called allegations were started by anonymous sources, correct?" She turned to Martin Collins. "And your network ran the story without verifying any of the claims. Why?" The anchor's smirk faded. We reported what was already circulating in public discussion." Karoline wasn't finished. "Interesting. Because this document," she tapped the folder, "contains proof that these sources are tied to a lobbying group financially backed by individuals I exposed in my last case." Gasps rippled through the audience. Martin glanced at his producers. Samantha cleared her throat. "Miss Leavitt, are you accusing the media of spreading misinformation?" Karoline held up a paper. "This is a signed statement from a whistleblower inside your newsroom. They confirmed that executives deliberately chose to ignore key evidence that cleared my name." She placed it down with a satisfying tap. "So, Samantha, tell me, who's really manipulating the facts here?" The panelists were stunned. They had planned to corner her, but now Karoline Leavitt had turned the tables. And she wasn't done yet. The audience murmured in shock as the journalists fumbled for words. Karoline Leavitt turned to the cameras. "The public deserves truth, not sensationalized lies. And I won't let my reputation be destroyed by false narratives." Samantha tried to recover. "But Miss Leavitt, surely you can't deny that," Karoline cut her off. "I deny nothing but falsehoods. You want to talk about integrity? Let's discuss your network's past fabrications." She pulled out another document. "Here's a list of stories your channel had to retract due to false reporting." Martin Collins paled. "That's unnecessary," Karoline raised an eyebrow. "Unnecessary?
Subscribe to my channel.
It's necessary when people's lives and reputations are at stake." The audience burst into applause. Even some of the panelists looked impressed. Then came the real shock. Karoline's phone buzzed, and she held it up for the cameras. "Breaking news, the media executive behind this smear campaign just resigned. Looks like someone couldn't handle the truth." The journalists exchanged panicked glances. The plan to ruin her had backfired spectacularly. The interview ended in disaster, for them. As Karoline stepped off the stage, the live chat exploded. #JusticeForKaroline started trending. Social media flooded with support. The very people who had tried to take her down were now scrambling to cover up their own tracks. Backstage, a young intern approached her nervously. "Miss Leavitt, I just wanted to say, that was incredible. I'm studying journalism, and I want to be honest in my reporting, but it's hard when powerful people try to control the narrative." Karoline placed a hand on the intern's shoulder. "Then be the journalist who refuses to be controlled. Truth will always find its way." The intern smiled, inspired. Meanwhile, the network heads were in full damage control mode. Reporters outside bombarded them with questions. "Why did your station push a false narrative? Were you aware of the misinformation? No one had answers. The same people who had tried to destroy Karoline Leavitt were now fighting to save their own reputations. The next morning, headlines had changed. Karoline Leavitt destroys media smear campaign. News channels tried to cover up their mistake, but the damage was done. Karoline's name was cleared, and her reputation was stronger than ever. She sipped her coffee as her phone buzzed with messages of support. Another notification popped up, an invitation to debate on a bigger platform. Her voice was louder than ever. Before heading out, she took a moment to post a message, "The truth is louder than lies. Thank you to everyone who stands for honesty." Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Rocket.